they will make sure that when your child enters, be it grade 1 or 2 or kindergarten, wherever you're going to step off into another school, it is obvious that based not just on my child's performance, but on that of her classmates from kindergarten, etc., they are so much more advanced than the other kids going into the next grade.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
My daughter first attended Children's Garden back in the fall of 2016, I guess it is now. And so we had just moved back from overseas, where I worked. And speaking with her pediatrician and her dentist, we asked them for a list of different schools that they could recommend. And so actually her pediatric dentist gave us a list of 3 names, including Children's Garden, which he had said 20 years prior his kids had actually attended as well. And so when we went for a school tour, we met Pauline, the director, principal, owner, and she was just great. It was just as soon as you walk in, you just felt this warmth. And we actually had Mika with us, and she was going to be entering into. She was still 2 at the time, so they brought her into the gymnasium where all the kids were playing, and she joined right away. And there was just this warmth and comfort of the school that we just loved. We just said, this is the school for us. So it was really from referrals from her doctor and dentist, which we're lucky to have.
Okay, good. So was the ultimate was the thing that made you ultimately choose it that day at the school?
It was that day at the school.
Okay.
It's just fantastic. We had so much comfort meeting Pauline and just seeing how the teachers were interacting with the kids. Children's Garden was great. So my daughter, she is in her 4th year actually at Children's Garden, which she had a break prior. So she attended nursery school, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, graduated, went on to public school grade 1. COVID hit, and so this past year we brought her back to Children's Garden. So of how it's responded, so I got to say, so when I was nursery school, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, there was never a day that she literally almost didn't jump out of bed to get to school. Um, when she went on to public school for grade 1, and it was such a change, she went from a small class size of 6, 7 kids to a class of over 20 kids, from an entire school of about 40 kids to a school of 682 kids. It was a lot for her. So when we told her this past year that she was going to be returning for grade 2 to Children's Garden, she was elated. And so it was really great because I have to say during grade 1, it was sometimes a struggle to get her excited about going to school in the morning. And there were sometimes the tears. And now that she's back at Children's Garden, she just bounces out of bed every morning. And of course, now with COVID and being working at home, but still she has a great routine, and she just loves hopping on the calls with her teachers and classmates. So it's been fantastic. I I think it's the small class size. She's Each child is able to really develop at their own pace with the teacher. And my daughter Mika, she loves math, and the fact is, and reading, and the fact is that the teacher is able to accommodate each kid in kind of their journey of where they are. And so she's being challenged, and that's what is she loves. She has this work ethic which is incredible. I say she got it from her grandfather's family, who were all farmers. And she has this work ethic, and she loves being challenged, and she loves working hard, and she's never bored. And so that's really important, because as soon as kids get bored with their education, then they just kind of stop trying. The
Yeah.
school really puts the children's best interests first, which is incredible. So it's not the school's interest, it's not the teacher's interest, it's really the kid's interest. And so that's where we've seen time and time again where the school's been able to pivot with COVID, um, and just really make sure that they're doing the best for the kids. And so unfortunately, we haven't seen that at other schools in the past where perhaps there's unions involved and there's policy and procedures and et cetera, et cetera. So children's garden is just being what is in the best interest of the kid. And sometimes it's not in the best interest of the school. And you see that the school will actually pivot to make sure that they're accommodating the child. It's really hard to say, because the reality is the school historically has always been a nursery school up to kindergarten. And so that's being where their focus is being. They're in they're located in a church, they're non-denominational. uh so the facility is limited, but they do have the gymnasium that they play in. They have a small garden in the back. And so the reality is there are, of course, larger schools which have the facilities and the infrastructure. At the end of the day, though, that didn't really matter so much to us, because it was about the teachers and the education that they're getting. And that was really most important. So children's garden, sure, if it was in a state-of-the-art new facility, would be different. But actually, this past year, children haven't been able to use those facilities anyway. So that hasn't been a concern to us. So at the end of the day, it's being the staff and the principal and the other kids and parents as well. So, it's kind of the judging the book by the cover. I wouldn't judge Children's Garden poorly, uh, because it's in a smaller building. Uh, what have I found surprising? I think that I'm surprised at how well they're able to pivot from being a nursery school to a school which accommodates grade 1 and 2 children as well. And so I was really surprised at how quickly the administration was able to advance the curriculum, get online. They use Class Dojo as a great system between the teachers and the parents. And so we're always fully apprised of the work that's being done. And it's really user friendly for us to be able to get an update and print out the work that Mika will be doing each day. About loving and caring, and about a love to learn. And so Mika's best friends, she's now 7.5 years old, and she's had these friends since before she was 3, some of them, and they've all moved on to some different schools, etc. But it's remarkable that the values that they've instilled in these children, um, you see the difference in the kids. And so her friends, be it Maya or Gavin or Brandon, these kids that she's known for years, you just see this loving and caring, um, them as people, but as well as their love to learn.
And
And
that come,
so,
sorry, go ahead.
and I was going to say, I really believe that has come from Children's Garden. That was instilled in them in the early years, and they've just been really promoting that and nurturing it. And these kids just love to learn. They want the children to be in a loving and caring environment. They want the kids to be prepared for their older years in education, as well as no one's looking to be in, let's call it the beauty contest, or uh, a snobbing, I'm trying to think of the right term,
Leaky.
No, it's very unpretentious. People just want the kids to have fun and enjoy themselves, but really get the good education and to be good people. And so at the end of the day, there's a lot of bigger schools and more prestigious schools and more expensive schools or less expensive schools. At the end of the day, it really comes down to the teachers and the administration. And it's just time and time again, you see some families there that just, the series of children have been graduating. And so I see parents in the parking lot where, they're the older children graduated from kindergarten a few years ago, the younger ones are there. And so you see a lot of familiar faces. It's fantastic. I have to say personally for myself, uh, some of, I'd say, my best friends nowadays are the parents of the children that my daughter went to school with starting 4 years ago. And so it's been great. I'd say we all have the same kind of values. We want the best for our kids. We want them to grow up to be good people. We want them to be independent and confident. We want them to be kind. And the school doesn't have any arrogant families. No one's pretentious. It's pretty much a pretty, good down to earth group of folks. We're all reaching out to each other, try to help each other find COVID shots recently. And so whether it was um, with one of Mika's classmates' dad who was looking for one, I reached out to him as soon as I found out where there was one, as well as one of Mika's classmates from 4 years ago. I knew he was looking, so we were keeping in touch. And so we'll do the birthday parties under good times. Bike riding. We've done ski trips together. We have visited other friends' cottages in the past years, and so it's a really good group of people. The the music and arts program that they've done has just been incredible too. And so the school plays that they put on, be it the holiday pageant or the year end, it is a full blown performance. And so it's just fantastic. It's the type of performance that every year, my parents being snowbirds, that they would make sure they would come back from Florida at Christmas time just to catch this performance. And so they really do a great job with the kids singing and dancing and music, and the entire performance is really entertaining. Tears in my eyes, and we're all clapping and cheering, and it's just great, just fantastic. So from the music and the drama and art that they do, as well as my daughter was also in French immersion for a couple of years when they're offering that before. And so it was fantastic to see how well that they're engaged all the time. Our very first Mika's very first year for nursery school, she had Miss Carol. Miss Carol was just fantastic, and she was very loving and caring. And this was Mika's first time ever outside of the house, away from us. We never had any babysitters outside of grandma and grandpa or anyone else. And so just so loving and caring, and where she quickly learned that Mika would like puzzles. And so to get each child settled in the morning at drop off, and these kids, some of them were still 2 years old turning 3, Mika was she would have a puzzle waiting for Mika every morning. So we would drop off and she'd have a puzzle, so Mika would calm down and get right in there, and it was all different with kids, with each different child. We then had Miss Jill and Jed and Miss Leslie, Madame Karen, and Madame Joanne, and now Miss Leslie again. And so each teacher's always being there for us whenever we have any questions. Nowadays, we can have Zoom calls with Miss Leslie whenever we need it. Miss Pauline, the director, principal, owner, she's always been fantastic. Again, in years past, you always see each other in the hallways while you're doing drop-offs, etc. Now with COVID, we just drop at the door and leave, but she's always there. So whether we've had any concern we can have a phone call, or we could do a Zoom call, or we can have socially distanced chat in the parking lot with their masks on. The administration has always been there. The teachers have always been there. The music teacher, Miss Emily, she's been fantastic. When I say music, she does music, drama, and arts. And it's just the teachers really care about the kids, and you see it. And it's you see it not only from the teachers, but you see it in the kids as well. How much they just love school. I can't say enough that your child should go to Children's Garden. Uh, we've been so lucky and fortunate that our daughter was there for a total of 4 years. I'd say the three biggest reasons that your child should attend Children's Garden is the administration, the families, and of course the teachers. So they will always make sure that they put your child first over that of policy and unions, etc. And they will make sure that when your child enters, be it grade 1 or 2 or kindergarten, wherever you're going to step off into another school, it is obvious that based not just on my child's performance, but on that of her classmates from kindergarten, etc., they are so much more advanced than the other kids going into the next grade. And next year, my daughter is going to be moving on to another school for grade 3, which is a school really focused on math and sciences, considered a feeder school for University of Toronto schools, etc. And it was really Children's Garden which got her to that level, which she was able to be accepted to the school to really work and with her in the future on her passion for STEM. So my daughter loves the science and technology, engineering, and math. So the new school she's going to, which I won't name now, but the one that she will be going to in September, is really focused on STEM, considered a top feeder school for the top academic schools in the city. And I would say that it was all based on Children's Garden giving her that strong foundation. Please go into the school, meet the directors, see if there's an opportunity for your child to join a class, especially a class that she or he would be entering into for the following year, so you can see how they like it. So at the end of the day, you got to get your kid out of bed in the morning. You got to get them loving going to school. So find that school which your child's going to love to learn and go to and make friends and just be sad when it becomes summer break.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.